Hi there, and welcome. We're here to talk about the Little Falls High School Student Internship Program. My name is Neil Andershuk. I'm the Digital Learning Specialist for Little Falls Community Schools. Our guests today, we have Ben Witt. He was one of the students in the internship program, and we have Paul Anez, the mentor in the program for Anez Consulting. Paul, if we could start with you. So you got this Ben character out at your place as a student intern. How did that benefit? What did you get from this? What did you see when Ben showed up?
Well, first of all, he showed up with a smile on his face, so that was always good, a good start. But I guess how our company benefited from it, in the past we would look for kids at colleges or community colleges, and which was good, and we got good interns that way that were able to allow them to get experience at our place, and we would also get to know them and if they would be a fit for our company. This we feel is even better because it we get to know these people 1 to 2 years earlier.
Okay.
While they're in high school, and kind of get to see what they're like sooner. If down the road they may have a fit with our company, and also, when we used to hire people as interns out of college, you'd maybe only have them for 1 or 2 years, and this way you have a better chance of having them for 2, 3, 4 years while they're going to college or whatever school after high school. So we feel that has been a good benefit for us to get to know them earlier.
Awesome. What about you, Ben? What do you think? How's this helped you, or what have you learned from working with Anez Consulting?
Well, some of the big things that have been benefits was that it improved my knowledge of cropping systems a lot. Growing up with a farm background, it definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things and so much more. It also improved my communication skills, getting to talk to clients and communicating back and forth to the agronomists and so forth. And then also it improved my attention to detail. Overall, looking at a field doesn't look the same again. You're always really site-specific, looking for any problem areas, and I guess overall, a lot of really good benefits.
Wow, his vocabulary is, I got to catch up to vocabulary already. So give me an example of talking to an agronomist. What does that mean? I don't know any of that.
I guess for me normally, when we'd go out in the fields and look, if Paul and I'd go out in the field and look, say it was a cornfield, we'd go out there and look early season, and we'd look for stand establishment, seed count, see if there was any plants missing or any herbicide injuries if herbicide was sprayed. And so then after evaluating the field and walking through it for 15, 20 minutes or whatever, depending on the size of the field, then we'd meet up and I'd tell Paul my findings or anything that was concerning, and we'd talk about possible causes or look further into it and see what was the issue. And so.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Can I intern next summer?
I don't know. We got a pretty in-depth process.
Yeah, I need a vocabulary lesson first. So, what did Ben come in with that he was well prepared for? What strengths did he bring in?
Well, I don't know if it's true of all candidates, but with Ben, he definitely was a pretty good communicator right off the bat. He's well-spoken. We didn't teach him any of that. And probably the biggest thing, is a simple thing, is he came in with a positive attitude. Always had a smile on his face, and that means a lot, with being around coworkers and just bringing everybody up a notch in their attitude for the day. I think he's prepared well for asking questions and how to ask thoughtful questions.
Good at digging in deeper a little bit.
Very good at asking questions, and had a real interest of wanting to learn more and to really increase his learning curve.
Awesome. What advantages do you think this gives Ben? Still in high school, getting to dig in deep like this. I think of when I was in high school, boy, I might have skipped over 12 or 14 of the jobs I had before I got here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think just knowing the other opportunities that are out there, I think you had a pretty good idea of, in general, the different job opportunities in agriculture and that, but I think there's a lot out there that he wasn't really aware of, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's, I wish I had that opportunity when I was younger, just to see. I mean, in my case, I kind of grew up with it, and I could see other things in the business. But I guess for other kids, just it's an opportunity to get 2 or 3 years ahead of the game. So going into college, there's these other things I can do in the ag industry. It's not just about farming or just about seed production. And when they go to college, I think their eyes are more open to different possibilities of where they could go with their career. I think it really opens the doors sooner for them, like you say, than having to wait to figure it out 10 years later.
Sure. What do you think, Ben? How has it changed your approach to looking at college or classes, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for me it was really cool because going into the internship, I was looking, that senior year, I was looking for classes and what careers there were out there, and so for me I wanted to be ag focused, and then someone mentioned the idea of doing agronomy work, and so for me it was something let's give it a shot and see what it's really like, and so for me it was really cool that I got a chance to spend a couple months right there on the job and learning directly from Paul and the rest of the employees what a typical day would entail, and the learning curve with that. And so for me it was really cool because it allowed me to gain insight into that instead of wasting a semester of college and realizing this just isn't what I'm looking for, and different switch this way. It confirmed my thoughts on what I wanted to pursue in college and really gave me a good feeling going up to Fargo that that's definitely what I wanted to do, and a lot more confidence going into school and stuff.
Awesome.
But even like for, you kind of knew what we did as a company in generalities, but you've seen the other side with your relatives with farming, but you really didn't know much what we did at our company, would you say?
Right. For me, from the outside in, I thought, you see them soil sampling, or I just see the truck in a field, and for me it was kind of like, they must just know, or, they must, I knew there was a lot more to it than what I knew. Coming from the outside, it was like I had a very limited view, just look at the dirt and see what happens, I guess. But, going into it, then it's like your eyes are just open that, wow, there's so much more attention to detail, so much more finite and specifics that they go into. And it was really, really fun to kind of gain insight on that and to really get a good idea of how they operate. And so that was something that was really, really cool about the internship.
Awesome. That's kind of the last 2 questions I have here to kind of wrap up. Is what was the best part for both of you or either of you, and then any last thoughts? That could be all kind of one question if you wanted. Maybe start with you, Paul. What do you think? What was the best part of the experience?
I think it's just when you're working with someone like Ben as an intern. Just seeing the light bulb go on in different situations when you're explaining something or showing something in a real life situation. I would say that was one of the best parts, and just being able to work with the youth, bring a certain amount of energy and vitality, and it kind of just it just brings more energy to your day-to-day activities, and and that was exciting. And I guess I kind of enjoy, being a mentor. And, I had people when I was younger, even still today, that mentor me and help me get to be where I am today. And so I enjoy giving back. And if I can help a younger person or someone else, learn faster, and that gets me excited, I guess.
That's really cool. What about you, Ben? Any
For
last
me,
thoughts?
probably the coolest part about the internship was not only getting to get some real life job experience, but also within that, the relationships I got to have with Paul and the employees was something really fun. They're a great company to work for and to be at through this internship, and so probably the funnest memory I had out there, being it was in the spring, we kind of had some downtime starting off, obviously with the winter months, but then come spring with planting season, it was really go time, and it was fun. We got to go in on some pioneer plots together, and that was really fun, getting into the atmosphere and overall rush of it. It was a big swing, you build up, you know, during the winter months, and then it was the last probably just couple weeks that I got a chance to go out in the field, and that was really fun to be with Paul and Cody and all them right there in the action and getting to talk with clients and, you know, go around with the four-wheelers and be right there with the seed bags ready to go and stuff. So that was something that was really fun that I remember, and as a whole, it was really cool to have a chance to work with Anez. They're just such a great company that allows kids to really grow and get a chance into the real, you know, ag job experience. And so my biggest takeaway was that their commitment and dedication to the ag industry is really just phenomenal. I know there were several times we were at client meetings or out in the field, and Paul cut his time short when I know he wanted to be out there longer just so I could be back in time for practice. Another time he took 2 vehicles out to a plot because we knew it was a bigger plot, but about halfway through I had to get back, and so I could take the other rig all the way back about 20 miles out of town back so I could get back for practice. And so seeing the length, the time cut that and sacrifice that Paul made just for an intern kid that doesn't know much was something that I'll always remember and always be grateful for. So
Very cool.
He's
Very
too
cool.
kind.
Well, it sounds like we got some pretty cool friendships out of this too. Fantastic. Ben, Paul, thanks for your time. I'm Neil. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks.
thank you.